Hello Home Slices, it's Kiera with Home Slice Adulting coming to you with my review for Real Housewives of Atlanta Season 10 Episode 16, which is titled Driving Miss Kim. Now, first off, we start off with Candy. Mama Joyce comes over and Candy talks about the Barcelona trip. She talks about Roach-gate and how she feels that kids have to stay out of the adults' business. Now, Candy says that she would never allow Riley to get into an argument with the other ladies, which I feel like is a fair statement. But to be fair, Brielle is an adult now, and Kim has never been the type of parent that holds very tightly to the reins, okay? So, I don't know that Kim has the relationship or authority over Brielle to stop her from being a little brat and being stupid by, you know, interacting with the grown women of the group. Then we talk about Floor Mat Gate, where Candy really abbreviated that story. I wasn't a fan of that, but she made it seem as if Portia left Barcelona because of the doormat, when we all know that Portia was not okay with the ladies bringing up and putting pressure on her and bringing up a situation that they were not involved in regarding, you know, all the accusations from the previous season. But moving on, Mama Joyce admits that she finally had a little sit down with Portia, and she still believes that Phaedra manipulated Portia. Now, personally, I think that it might have been a little bit of both, because Candy believes that Portia just wanted to win the argument. I think she feels like Portia was more so acting alone. I think it may be a little bit of a mixture of both. The information that was given to her was clearly from Phaedra. And I don't think Phaedra ever intended for Portia to actually speak on it. I don't know. I think it's a mixture of both. But either way it goes, Portia only owes an apology to Candy. And so Candy says that she won't respect Portia until she can admit that basically she wasn't Phaedra's puppet and that she just wanted to win the argument and came up with the most hurtful thing to say to Candy in that moment while they were arguing. She also says that she doesn't want to discuss what happened with Portia, but the other ladies keep bringing it up, and that's why Portia has to deal with it more often than she should. And then Mama Joyce says something that I said in a previous review. And she says that she would tell other people to stop bringing it up. And I was like, I feel like that's something that Candy should do, but it's not something that she is necessarily obligated to do, considering how Candy is the type of person who allows other people to do her dirty work. I don't think that will ever happen where Candy tells everybody the only person that can hold Portia's feet to the fire is Candy. But Candy probably won't do that. I think it would be good for Portia and Candy and their relationship if that were to happen. But moving on, we see Portia for like 5 seconds. She's talking to her sister Lauren. She talks about how toxic the environment was, and that's why she left Barcelona. Portia feels like she and Nene were able to make up, but Portia is not going to take Nene's advice. And once again, Nene's advice was to get in front of all of the girls and to say I royally effed up and admit to it and own up to it. And while again, I feel like that would definitely help Portia's relationship with everybody, Portia does not owe an explanation to anybody. And that's where Portia is. She's closer to telling everybody to kiss her behind than to tell everybody that she messed up royally. But moving on, we have this dual shot situation where Sheree and Kim are talking, and then Nene and Greg and Brent are talking. I really don't like when they go back and forth between the scenes like this, because to me it kind of makes it harder to review. But let's just get into it. So we see that Sheree and Kim talk about how Chateau Sheree went from being Neverland to being a beautiful house. And then next we see that Kim is only really there at Sheree's house to get the tea on what happened in Barcelona. But we see Nene, Greg, and Brent sitting down to talk about the battle that's going on social media between Kim, Nene, and Brielle. Now, Nene responded to Brielle like she was an adult, and I'm not necessarily mad at Nene. We'll talk a little bit about that later. If you think that you're an adult and can put out posts of, you know, videos of roaches at somebody's house and say crazy things about people, you should be prepared to get handled as an adult, particularly if it's Nene. We know how Nene is. She's very reactive, which is something else that we're going to talk about later on today. But moving on, Kim claims that Brielle was invited by Brent. Now, even if Brielle was invited by Brent, it's possible that Nene did not know that. But the way Brent told the story, Brielle basically kind of said, well, we're in the area, and Brent was like, okay, you can come over. So in a way, she kind of invited herself, but not really. It's a little unclear because Brent is a mumble talker, which I can't do the mumble talking. I'm just letting you know. But Nene posted a video. Kim said it was playing the race card. I'm not really sure what happened. But essentially, in the video, because I don't know what video it is, she called Kim a racist. Yo, we were all thinking it, okay? Come on. We were all thinking it. I mean, there are reviewers on here that call Croy a grand dragon. Like, I would never say that, but we all know that there have been some situations where Kim has said some things that come off as racist. We'll just leave it at that. But moving on, I found it interesting that Sheree actually found an opinion. Okay, because when she was in Barcelona with the girls, she didn't have no opinion on nothing. Nothing that Kim did. And that's the problem that I have. When you're a real friend to somebody, you don't become a bug up their butt, okay? You let them know when they're in the right, when you support them, and you also let them know when they are wrong. And I think that Sheree is allowing her current beef with Nene to get in the way of her seeing that seeing Kim's role in this whole situation. But Sheree says that Nene went below the belt, and unfortunately she has no comment on what Kim did to Nene. But Kim is upset that Nene called her whole family racist. But you know, the fish stinks from the head down. The emotions and feelings that Kim feels are going to trickle down to her kids. So if Kim is racist, then her children may have racist tendencies too. I'm not calling Kim a racist. Some of the things she says comes off as racist. Just saying. But moving on, Nene tells the truth about the Roach's comment being received as a racist comment. I will say the saying that black people have roaches comes off as very stereotypical and as racist, and I 100% agree that it can't be received as a racial comment. They play back some of the things that Kim has said. They have a racist connotation about her not wanting to sit around with Nene and eat chicken, and we were all, you know, a little suspicious with the way that Kim treated her former assistant, Sweetie. It was a little slave master situation going on. So, you know, it's not far-fetched for us to think that maybe Kim might be a little bit racist. Just, okay? Now, Kim's family, according to Kim, doesn't see color. You know, that's like the first thing that racist people say. Like, oh, I don't see color. BS. Everybody sees color. Don't try to pretend that you're colorblind. Everybody sees color. If it doesn't matter to you what somebody's color is, that doesn't mean that you don't see color, okay? Everybody sees color. And I feel like saying that you don't see color is just a way of covering up the fact that you actually see color. So, that's bull. Kim spent $20,000 on a cease and desist. That's interesting. Brielle did what she did to be mean and nasty, and Kim doesn't feel that way. Kim says that it was a joke between her and Brielle. But since when is putting something on Snapchat an inside joke? Now, I'm not really 100% sure how Snapchat works. Did she snap it to just her mother, or did she snap it to like all of her followers? I don't know. I don't know how Snapchat works. But whatever it was, that video was not an inside joke. Moving on. And if it was an inside joke, why did you send it to the rest of the girls? Moving on. Kim starts to bring up Nene's past as if anything in Nene's history is relevant at this moment. It's not. Sheree needs to just shut up. She's actually very annoying to me in this moment with the way that she's defending Kim. And while I do feel like both Nene, Brielle, and Kim are all wrong, Kim started it. And when you start something, you cannot dictate the way that somebody should handle or react to it. Sheree didn't like that the ladies were asking her about talking to Kim. And notice how she finally had an opinion that Brielle should not have taken the video, but she didn't have an opinion in Barcelona. Yeah, I really don't like Sheree. Sheree is really getting on my nerves. Moving on, we see Cynthia. Cynthia is picking up Will to take him to the airport. Marlo says that she would have put Will in an Uber, and I would have too. Now, Nene's part in the escape tour is canceled due to a very crass joke. We all know it happened months ago, so we know what that's about. When Cynthia finally picks up Will, they have a really awkward kiss where he offers up his cheek. He seems to be very cheeky about the whole situation with Eva. Now, Cynthia said that the lie fell flat. And even the producers asked Cynthia, what does Eva have to gain by lying about Will? I don't think that Eva was lying. I feel like she definitely has nothing to gain by being that. I do think the whole situation was very messy. And I do believe that Will was dating somebody at the time that he met Eva. I'm just under the impression that Will did not have enough integrity to basically establish the timeline of what was going on, considering how he claimed that he had been single for like 2 years when Eva had just seen him with a girlfriend a few months or a few weeks prior. I think that Cynthia is being a little silly by thinking that Will is being honest. But Will said, you know, he would have broken up with Cynthia over the whole situation, but she's his meal ticket. Why would he do that? Moving on, we see Sheree and Candy. I don't really care for fanny packs, but Sheree's was very nice. I liked it. Candy talks about the tour drama with Nene, and Candy thought that the whole situation could kind of blow over, but the other members of Escape and the promoter for the tour said that Nene has to go, and I totally understand that. Nobody wants any bad press around their situation, especially considering how much money they probably made or could have made off of the tour. Sheree once again found an opinion on Nene. You know, opinions are just coming out of nowhere. Typically she doesn't really have one, but now that she has an issue with Nene, she has an opinion. But moving on, you know, Sheree thinks nothing is funny about rape, and it absolutely is not. Sheree does have an interesting point at how lightly Candy is treading and taking this whole situation, considering how upset she was with the rape allegations from Portia the last season. It is a little weird. I will give Sheree that she did have a little point there. Sheree wants to hold Nene's feet to the fire for her words and her actions, and that's, you know, considering how much Nene was intent on holding Portia's feet to the fire for her words and actions and what she did to Candy. It's only fair that everyone is accountable for their own actions and words. And Kim wants to go to lunch with Candy, and Sheree feels like Candy just doesn't want to be on Nene's bad side, and gets Candy to essentially admit that both Nene and Kim were wrong in the situation. I don't like the way that Sheree is caping for Kim. I don't really like that. I feel like the same way that she feels that Candy is caping for Nene is the way that Sheree is caping for Kim, and I don't like that. Moving on, we see Nene having a conversation with Marlo and Cynthia. They come over to spread some love and light in a dark time in Nene's life. Nene just didn't want to hurt anybody, and Cynthia and Marlo were concerned and wanted to know what drove Nene to say such insane things. Was it the whole Roach situation? Was it the fact that she was served with a cease and desist? Or was it the fact that she was being dropped from the tour? What's going on in your life, girl? Nene was upset that Kim just couldn't come into her house and be happy for her. Nene was just so quick to react to someone telling her to kill herself. And that's what I was talking about. Nene is very reactive. She doesn't necessarily know how to let things go. And that's just the way that she has always been. But she may want to consider doing something different, you know, because it has definitely cost her. And I was very aware that Nene was not dropping a single tear. She was wiping at her face and there was no water. There was no nothing. She was not crying. Did anybody else see a tear? Because I didn't see a single solitary tear. Okay. And I was wondering if she was upset because she said something that she shouldn't say, or if she was upset and mourning the loss of a check. You tell me. Moving on, Nene has claimed and said that she has been abused physically and sexually before, so she would never want to wish that on anybody else. I feel like it was a very rude thing to say, and the context that they put it in, it was the joke. She was telling a joke about Uber, so she just didn't come out of nowhere and say it. The fact that it was on topic doesn't make it any better, but the context kind of illuminates things for me a little bit. But moving on, we see Kim and Kandi, and I'm ready for Kandi to get Kim together, and I was a little let down that they made up. Like, who wants to be friends with Kim? The fact that more and more of these ladies are getting back on a good foot with Kim is suggesting to me that she's going to become a regular part of the show and get her peach back next season. And I don't like that. I'm not a big fan of that. But moving on, Kandi is getting her just desserts because she is always late. But it is not nice for you to invite somebody somewhere and show up hours late. That's some crap, and I would have left. But considering how all the ladies have had to wait on Kandi, it's kind of karma. But moving on, Kim told Kroy that, you know, she may be quick. And Kroy is like, well, I hope so. And it's just a quick demonstration that Kandi's concerns about Kroy always waiting in the wings to whisk Kim away is an issue. So Kim makes a shady comment, you know, even though Kandi cost me $40,000 in lawyers, I don't have any ill feelings. Would you bring it up if you didn't have any ill feelings? I'm not sure. But well, typically, I don't think the girls should be concerned that Kroy is waiting in the parking lot. I do understand that Kim uses him being in the parking lot as an excuse for her to leave situations early and to not be present the way, you know, Kandi put it. It puts pressure on the girls to rush through a scene. You know, I really don't like that. But moving on, like Kandi said, it's about her being present in the moment and nobody is jealous of her life. Nobody. Kandi is trying to explain herself and Kim curses at Kandi and that sets Kandi off. And Kandi is like, well, if you're so irritated, how about you go hop in your Uber car with your husband and get the heck out of here like you usually do. Kandi was real mad because she had that little angry vibrato going on. She was real mad. But anyways, they proceed to order lunch like everything is normal, and Kandi apologizes if she felt like there was if Kim felt like she crossed the line, and then it's like they're back to normal again. It was real weird. I didn't understand that, the way that they went from, you know, arguing and being angry to just talking about their lives and their children. That was weird. And to me that tells me that their friendship is based on being fake, and I don't like that. Who wants to be friends with Kim? I just don't understand that. Kim accuses Nene of being on drugs again. Kandi finally talks about Roach-gate, and Kandi says that she didn't like how the whole situation went down. Kim says that she didn't put Brielle in the middle, which I kind of agree. I think Brielle put herself in the middle. But Kandi has a point. Is Brielle an adult or a child to Kim? You can't say that she's an adult and she can address an adult while you defend Brielle to other people because she's your child. Yeah. Moving on. Yeah, that's it. I really wish that Kandi would have stuck it to Kim like we all want to stick it to Kim. But I just don't understand why she wants to reestablish their friendship when Kim's a bad person. Lastly, we'll talk about what's happening next time. Portia busts her butt in the skating rink. Atan and Kandi still wanted Nene on tour and wished the whole situation would have kind of blown over. Tyrone makes more empty promises to Sheree, and we finally meet Kenya's husband, and Nene is very tickled by that. That's the end of this episode. I was a little bored, but you know, I gotta do it. Hopefully this season is gonna come to an end pretty soon. I know we're only on like episode 16, and they're usually like 24 episodes. Can we do 8 more weeks of this? I don't know. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out, home slices.